everybody, so I thought this would be a piece of interesting information. I'm not even going to edit that out, what's the point? So anyway, people don't realise there's a difference between a spiritual church and a demonstration. So also realise that a lot of times people don't read information. Like when you put things up, they will ask questions that are already in the post that you put up, and this has happened lots over the years since the kind of birth and explosion of social media. So I thought it'd be interesting to let you know what happens predominantly at a spiritual church, sanctuary or centre service. This is kind of a kind of general brushstroke. Not all of this happens at every place. So there will be normally it's an hour. Normally it's very rare that it's ever longer than an hour. You would have the information provided to people that is information like health and safety. Fire exits are here. This is what you know, they open up and they give thanks and they say welcome and yada yada. They do all of the kind of housekeeping bits, and then they'll introduce the medium, and then they will play a piece of music and or sing some songs. Sometimes there's one piece of music or two, sometimes there is one song or four, and then after that there's the opening prayer, or sometimes that's before the music, and then from that they will then, you know, do either a spiritual reading, you know, a piece of inspirational speaking, or there then will be that the medium will do what's known as a spiritual address. Spiritual address is where they will have a talk or a speech or something that will bring people together in an inspirational way. Or the medium might talk about how they work. That tends to be the kind of common thing nowadays. Then what will happen is the medium is then asked to take the demonstration. Now normally the demonstration is just about half an hour or 40 minutes because everything else takes up that amount of time. And then at the end of the service there'll be thanks given to the medium and to the congregation, and then there will be a closing prayer. Sometimes there's moments of silence, sometimes there's names read out from a healing book at the start or at the end, depending. And most places are hiring these halls, and the halls can be quite expensive, around £30 to £40 per hour. So, you know, people coming in and paying £3, £4, £4.50. Sometimes you have 6 people and sometimes you have 36 people. And there's never a strong consistency. It very much varies on people's lives and or situations. So the reason I'm saying that is so that you're aware of what happens at a spiritual service that takes place within a spiritual church, sanctuary or centre, depending on what you're at. So I just thought it'd be interesting for you to understand what actually goes on from the inside. And so don't think coming to a spiritual service and paying £3, £4, £4.50 that you're going to get the same kind of thing as you would get at an evening of mediumship, where you would buy a ticket and go out with your friends and have food and whatever else. It's a very, very different setup. So remember that. Remember that you are not in control when you're paying £3.50, £4, whatever it is, to bark your orders at the people who run the place, that you don't want songs, you don't want hymns, you don't want healing prayers, you don't want healing book. And this might sound like I'm nagging, but I'm a bit annoyed that people just don't give any consideration to the work that goes in. You know, like place like my spiritual church that runs once a month at my centre, Glasgow Spiritual Centre, I have a food bank. I have food that is given out to the needy and the homeless, and that takes up time and that takes up funds, and most of the time it's donations and or funds that I have taken from the business to buy things that will then be helpful. So, you know, it's way more than what you think, and your £3 doesn't always keep the doors open unless you have large numbers in, which is why they have a variation in mediums to then bring in the people. But anyway, most of you, if you've stayed to the end of this video, thank you. Most people have clicked off because they've thought this is boring, but if you did stay this long, you found it interesting, please tag a friend and let them know. Have an amazing day.